Greetings everyone, I am Patrexia Tampon, the Prime Minister of the government side of motion. The topic of our debate is about democracy as the best form of government. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. A quotation by Abraham Lincoln that states that the real democratic rule is about implementing a political system whereby ordinary people are permitted to actually choose their leader not because their good fortunes depend on one man or woman, but because as dignified human beings, they so deserve a life that is worthy of basic respect. Democracy is defined as a government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation, usually involving periodically held free elections. Hence, we firmly believe that democracy is the best form of government. It is the best for any country, as no other form of government can respond to the needs of the masses better than democracy. Democracy functions not only for the people, but also for their benefits as the people are the rulers and they can understand each other's necessities. Though this political system has its own flaws, it still works fluidly. We have three main points validating that democracy is the best form of government. Our first point is freedom. Democratic states nearly always have freer people than autocratic states. They obviously have the right to vote for their government, so by extension, deciding the policy of their nation and what their nation should be like. They have more freedom of speech and expression than in autocracies. In particular, they are free to criticize their own government. Secondly, human rights. The ability of the people to have a voice in the running of the state, in the economy, health, education, infrastructural development, and etc. creates a bit balanced environment for governments to thrive. This can only be achieved in a democratic state. And lastly, transparency. Democracy is as much about having checks and balances to the executive and having transparency of decision making as it is about elections and the populace throwing governments out of power. Even where immoral and illegal actions are not visible on the surface, there are separate institutions that have the power to investigate the executive and watch any secret deals or actions that are going away from the public view. To wrap it up, we believe that democracy is the best form of government because its very substance or its intrinsic value is about liberties, transparency, and the recognition of people on the basis of their dignity as human beings. Thank you.
Good day. I am Pamelha Escota, the second Deputy Prime Minister of the government side. As stated by the first speaker, in a democratic government, there is freedom. Democracy represents the people. The people have the power to elect officials who they think is best fit to govern the country, and the power to overthrow those who don't deliver to their responsibilities. Democracy was at its high during the 1986 EDSA revolution, wherein the Filipinos ousted Marcos from his position by using the so-called people power, and elected Corazon Aquino as they think she was best fit to be president. After the EDSA revolution, from a military government, the Philippine government became democratic, wherein everyone has their freedom to vote and their freedom to speak and express criticisms. We also think that the democratic government is the best form of government because power is separated into three branches, namely executive, legislative, and judiciary. With the three branches having different elected officials, abuse of power is minimal or non-existent. There is also distribution of workload, so work and progress can be done efficiently. Democracy is about every people, even the little man. Everyone is entitled to be heard, not just elites who are passive about the lives of those who don't belong to their socio-economic class, like in an oligarchy or aristocracy. Power is not only given to a selected group of people, like in a parliamentary government. In a democratic government, power is in the hands of every people. In the 1987 Constitution, it is stated that even illiterates have the right to vote. Rich or poor, everyone has their say towards the progress of their country. Thank you.
Good day, I am Enrico Paolo, the government whip. In democracy, all people are equal and free. Democracy promotes equality and freedom for the people. All members of a country are equal in the eyes of law and is given a right to enjoy and experience equal economic, political, and social rights. All the citizens have the right to vote. There are also many successful democratic countries around us. According to the study of Ted Picone and Ashley Miller, in 1985, after being in a 21 years of military dictatorship, Brazil returned to democracy. Since then, Brazil's GDP, or gross domestic products, was 10 times larger in 2012 as it was just prior to its turning point in 1985. Another is South Africa. The country saw the end of apartheid rule or separateness in 1994, ushering in a new era of majority rule democracy. And since then, South Africa's GDP is 3 times as large as the years leading up to their respective turning points. While in the Philippines, the study of Julia Andrea R. Abad showed that the Philippines' average GDP growth from 2001 to 2009 was 4.5%. And in 2010 to 2013, the average growth was 6.3%, which shows that democracy has a good effect on our country. In fact, the UN supports democratic governance because it emphasizes the role of every individual. To sum it all up, democracy is good for the Philippines because of the equal rights and freedom it gives to the people. Knowing that the people themselves elected their leaders shows that they have a trust on them. And with the government divided into 3 different branches, work and progress is done effectively, and the abuse of power is minimal. Thank you.